So the idea of surge pricing, the idea of a sliding scale on pricing, that's not actually a new thing. And that's not actually on its own a problem, right? Surge pricing at JFK at 6 p.m. for your Uber makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want that driver to go sit in traffic and wait for you, but taking an Uber home from JFK is a choice, and you could wait 10 minutes, or you could take the subway, or you could go stand in the taxi line. It's a choice. Feeding our families is not a choice. We have to feed our families, and the way in which the prices were being tested and manipulated. I think the phrase that was used was the shopper ceiling. How much would you be willing to overpay for something because of your, as you said, affinity for it, you've purchased it in the past, et cetera? It was just fascinating to see, even the way that they described it in the internal documents that came out in the consumer reports. And it was possible because there isn't a source of truth in groceries. That, like when I buy a flight, I'm from Texas originally. When I buy a flight home to Dallas, I am probably going to fly American Airlines because of the number of flights that they have from New York to Dallas every day. But I still start my purchasing trip on kayak.com because I want to make sure that American is pretty close to United or Delta, right? I'm not trying to fly Spirit, but if it's pretty close to United or Delta, like I'm going to book American because I've got a little bit of status there, and maybe I'll get an upgrade or I'll have a larger seat because I'm a tall guy. When it comes to groceries, we drive to a store that we hope carries the products that are on our list. We look at the price that they have there and we're like, I don't know, is that how much this costs? Like maybe. And, for delivery, they were able to toggle it even more and have even less transparency around the prices that they were paying. So, electronic shelf tags are starting to pop up in a lot of locations. That got struck down by the Supreme Court. Elizabeth Warren was all over it. And so, Bill Belichick said, if nobody's accusing you of cheating, then you're probably not trying hard enough. And I think that that's what is happening here, right? People they've been given an inch and they're trying to take a mile. And I think it was last week, the week before, it was less than a month after this Consumer Reports, article came out. Instacart said that we've discontinued that part of the program, and they probably have. They said that they did, but also, if I wanted to find out if they had, where would I go to find that source of truth? And those are just some of the questions that we're asking at Stretch. I know a lot of people in the grocery industry. I know a lot of people work very, very hard to serve the shoppers, and it's not the grocery industry is bad. But they're being given a lot of pressure from investors, from their board, from the public markets to figure out how to squeeze as much revenue out of every trip to the grocery store as they can. And unfortunately, that disadvantages those that don't have the resources to be able to do the research, to be able to think about all the different ways that they could leverage their time or research to go and figure out what the best price is. And with Stretch, what our value proposition is you upload your grocery shopping list for this week to the Stretch app. We look at every store that's on our platform that's close by to you, and we tell you before you leave your house which grocery store has all the products that are on your list, and then what the total price for that whole entire shopping list is at each store. So it's $110 over here, it's $130 over here, it's $150 over there. And the $150 option might be the closest option. So if you're in a rush, you might be willing to pay a little bit more to go to a store that's closer by. But at least right? At least similar to me with my American Airlines, at least I know I'm paying $50 more to fly American so that I can go to the terminal that I'm used to and, board in group 2. But I know that I paid that much, right? There's transparency around making that choice. And so ultimately, Stretch is about giving agency to shoppers so that they can make the best decision for them and their families this week.